What's that sound coming from? Today we're going to look at, well, a little bit of review, but a little bit of change in the mindset on how we should from this point on see our product. We should see it in the format of an object or a package, or in the format of an array of packages. Because after you understand the functions and variables and building simple applications, the only way to expand it further is to build off on the limit that you have with one-pagers, is to understand how to expand it through the format of an object and array. And I'll also introduce you to how other people do it with the same format. The reason why their application and tools are so used worldwide. In any case, we'll start off with pretty simple items. We'll still do our divs, and let's build off on a very small concept. The concept is that we'll just build name tags, and that we'll build it in a way where oh, so loud. Hopefully in the future, that we can send a name tag to someone else, so someone else can see the name tag, but we can't really send name tag images. That doesn't work out. So we want to be able to build some kind of name tag object so that these name tags can be sent around. Everybody can see your customized name tag and whatnot. But we won't be doing to that extent. We'll just start off with building the name tag and see how we translate everything together into a format that we should be comfortable with in the future. So we'll start off with building the actual name tag just to see what a name tag looks like in a UI format. We will probably have a div, probably with a class. tag, and probably with another one. So this is essentially what a name tag will look like in the UI. Okay, that's super loud. I'll try again. No? Then I guess that computer doesn't have it. You look at his screen.
What's your meta tag?
Oh, those are just from the template. But this is for the character set that you'll be using, UTF-8. You know, if you use Chinese, you can't really use UTF-8. Viewport is for mobile purposes, and this is to make sure that if you Internet Explorer, the content is Edge, so that it's compatible with this XUA. I don't know, like something like that. Like basically, make sure it's not Internet Explorer kind of thing. Okay, so our name tag. Let's just stylize it quickly to get a good glimpse of what our name tag is gonna look like. Probably have some. So right now, what we have is probably something like this. You don't need to have the meta tags if that's what you're wondering. So we'll probably have some background colors for our name tags. Probably have a different display, maybe like a inline flex or something like that. Probably do some align content center and not align content, align item center, and probably some justify content center. And the width, or guess for now the width would be 150 pixel, and I'll call it a day on that. Something like that. Maybe with some padding of 10 pixel. And that's the name tag. You can design it however you want. Doesn't really matter. And then for the name tag text, whatever it may be, or whatever it may be. So this is the process of kind of building an application. You have your UI, kind of, but not really. But you kind of try to figure out the architecture of what you're going to do and how you're going to do it. For example, if in the company that you're dealing with, they say that later on, people are going to, it's not going to be name one, but later on, people are going to be typing their own names on there. They're going to be able to customize their name tags. Maybe they'll be able to customize the colors and whatnot on the name tag. And then afterwards, they can connect with somebody else or connect with many people at the same time, and they'll see your newly customized name tag. So it's just like a game lobby or something like that. Then, in your mind, at this point, you have to figure out a way to represent this name tag. Not in a graphical kind of way, not in a UI kind of way, but in a package kind of way, because you'll be sending this internet package through your Wi-Fi, through the internet to someone else's computer. And the only way they can't read a graphic, they can't read a UI, but they can read the package of information. So I'm not gonna link this file to anything. I'm just gonna create a file just to try to architect this on my own without thinking too much of it. I'm not gonna be linking this example.js to anything. I'm just trying to figure out how am I gonna package this UI. So if I'm looking at this right now, this is my name tag. If I was to put this in a package of some sort, like my vacation package, it will have to look like something. Right? The package will probably look probably look something like this, because it's an open and closed brace to start a package. But what's in a name tag? What's in a name tag?
What kind of name tag?
Just this name, the one that I just built right now. What's in my name tag? The name. So I know there's a name in there called name1. So that by default it's name1. So the idea is then very, very simple, which is that if I need to tell other people, I have to send information to other people, I will package them in this way and send it to them. And then and then on their computer they'll be using my software to generate the UI, but they'll be using the information from my package to fill out the UI itself. That's the idea, right? So this is a software, HTML, CSS. You're building a software for them to generate the user interface graphics. But these information in the package is the one that you'll be sending eventually. So we'll see how they're all interconnected within the next few classes. But other than don't think about too much of that. Other than the name, maybe we have other things, right? Maybe we want them to customize more than just the name itself. Maybe we want them to customize the background color as well. So maybe I'll have something called BG color, and BG color is going to start with DDD. Maybe they'll also have the text color, and it will also have like 333 as a default, because I want my users to be able to customize their name tag before sending it over. So don't get confused over here about this. This is just me. If I was doing this, I would be writing down on paper. I'm just showing it to you. Like, this is me planning out how it's gonna look like in the future when I send it to somebody else. This doesn't actually connect to anything right now. It's just me planning out how I think it's gonna look like. And then later on, maybe I'll have some dimension. Maybe they can make different sizes name tag. So I'll just call it dim or something like that. And I know it starts at 150 because it's 150 pixel. So this here is how I kind of foresee the information that's going to be sent back and forth to with other people that's going to communicate with the software. Um, you know, by looking at this, it makes sense that it's a name tag of some sort because you have the name, you have the BG color. So we kind of took this graphics and this UI with the CSS and translated it down into a digital informatic object or dictionary or package. And that's really the phase that you want to get into because everything that goes after the foundation we've learned up to will have to deal with this item over here, that you're able to take your idea and translate it down into some sort of package information. Because what's the next step after dynamic content on the screen? It's dynamic content on other people's screen. That is controlled on your screen. Right? What's Instagram? It's dynamic content control on someone else's screen, but it's happening on your screen. How do you do that? You can't send screenshots to each other over and over again because that's not how it works. They're sending package information back and forth to each other. And that's how they can update their interface with these package information. And we've been doing a lesser version of it, which has to do with our proxy and everything. Because let's actually make this thing interactive first so that they can actually customize, so that it's not only name one, that they can actually customize the name they want, customize the background color and the text color and the size of it. So this is what's going to happen in the future. I'm just planning it out right now, but let's see how we can build it right now first. So I'm going to do a app.js now. This one's going to be connected, not example, but the app.js is the one that's actually going to be connected. So like I said, the idea for my future application is simple. They customize their name tag, they join some chat room or whatever, or they join a game. And then this customized name tag will have an object associated with it. And you send it over. Oh, by the way, another name for this, you've probably heard of it before, JSON, JavaScript object. It's just a way to package information together and send it all together. In any case, so as we've been doing this before we left off for the break, I know that for sure there's going to be state variables. It's always good to start setting everything up. For sure there's going to be the proxy setup. For sure there's going to be change state functions. And for sure there's going to be change UI functions. Because in an application, that's how, in a reactive application, that's how it's going to work. So let's start with our state variable. Well, this object that I plan out that's going to be sent to other people later on is actually my state variable, because when I change name one, I should change name one over here. When I change background color, I change background color over here. So in the same way, it's the exact same thing. By default, name one. You don't have to use name one by default. You can use whatever you want by default. So that's why proxy is a very very common, not common tool, very popular tool amongst the big three: Google, Facebook, and whatever the other guy is, View. Because everything they do in there, all the states variable that they use is a resemblance of the information that their applications are going to be communicating with each other. The proxy setup is fairly simple, if you remember. Let's go var handle, and then we're just setting up what happens when a package property is changed. So when the package property is changed, what was changed? What property will change? When what's the new value? And finally, we take the original package and we combine it with the tool that's observing it every second or so, or every millisecond or so, and we combine it using the proxy tool so that it gives us a new proxy package, so that this new package has both the original package information and the tools that it needs so that it gets observed every second. So this is the one that we're gonna be changing, because this will have all the information of the original and the new tools that we're using. And that's a setup. That's setting it up. We don't have any change state function yet, because we don't know how we're going to change these information. We haven't built anything. We haven't built any interface or any interaction to do the changes, so we don't know what that is yet. But at the very least, we can set up all the changes that's going to happen. We know that we're going to be changing the name, BG color, text color. So we know that we can do some if and else statement here. If the property of the package is name, then change UI. So when that's changed, change the UI, change the name UIs. Which UI are we changing? Like, we're changing the span, right? So we're gonna change the span name UI. But you can even start commenting here and ask yourself, what exactly are you changing? What are we changing for? What part of the UI are we changing? Are we changing a style for the name? What are we changing? The inner HTML or inner text, right? So we can just just write it down for now, so we know that that's the UI that we're changing. The next one to look for is BG color, and the BG color is changing. Which part of the UI are we changing? Change the name tag div, right? UI, and we're changing the styles background color. So a good thing about comments is you can just set yourself up properly. Then we are just changing name tag text span UI styles color. And finally, if props equals to dim, then what are we changing if it's dim? What's the dimension? No, but like what are we changing? Both width and height. Change name tag div UI styles width and height. So you kind of have it all set up. So here you kind of have it set up so that it's observing for the name, observing for BG color, observing for text color, and observing for dim. Observing for these four things: name, BG color, text color, and dim. So before we build the interaction, let's actually check for errors. I'm going to refresh and see if I have any bracketing errors or any syntax errors that I might have messed up. More importantly is the bracketing errors, because for most of you, it's a common error that you still have because you're still trying to get comfortable with script. There's nothing around there. That's it. Are you talking about up?
Oh, just the statement is wrong.
So that's on line 19, right? Yeah. Here. So if you close your set function already,
Oh,
this should include all the ifs. So you gotta, that's hard to hit.
but it's already inside.
But then you're missing the handle, right? If that's the one.
Oh,
So you're still missing one more after that. There you go. Yeah. Indent everything properly. Or else it's hard to see. Okay, so let's do the simpler one. Let's build our change UI functions first. Let's start with the name itself. That's the text itself. So let's call this change name text UI, like so. Function change name text UI. Now what we're gonna do is change the inner text of this, right? So we're gonna pass a value over, I'll call it val, and we're gonna change the inner text of that, which will look something like this. Var name span is equals to document dot query selector, and then you can use the class. Since there's only one of them, it's okay, but I'm just gonna give an ID later on. We'll call it preview text. and I'm just going to give an ID called preview text. ID equals to. Make sure you save it. And then this name span dot inner text equals to val. So this is building up the function. You can test this by using the function. So after you build the function, change name text. If you're okay, I don't know if it actually works, then just type change name text UI UI, and then a value inside like my name or something like that. This is just to do the testing test function to see if it changes to the actual item. So we're just preparing functions that will change the UI. Then you may go, okay, what's the next phase? Make 4 of them, right? One changes the text, the other changes the background color, the other changes the color, and the other changes the dimensions. So we could do that. And that's one way of doing it. And it's not a wrong way too. It's a pretty legitimate right way of doing it. But I'm also gonna be introducing different, different ways of building upon it. They're both right. It just so that you also have an idea of when you want to use what. For example, you don't have to call it change name text UI. Maybe I can have one function that does all 4. All I need is some if and else statement inside to figure out what to change. So for example, I can just have the function call. I'm just gonna comment this out down here. Just call it change name UI like so, and it's gonna be the value that you pass over, and I'll call it the T for type. Okay. What type of the or part? Let's use part. My part. Part sounds right. So what's the second one over here, right? Well, how do I know which part of the UI I'm changing? If I want to do it all in one function, I need a way to differentiate between what I want to change, right? So for example, I can do some if and else statement. If m part is equal to n, stands for name, then I can do name span dot inner text equals to val. And then I can just go test it out again. Change name UI. New name. And I'm going to pass in n as the second argument, because I say if it's n, then change the text, right? So this function works, which is good. Then I can start hammering other things. For example, the color. I can go if m part equals. So this is up to you. You don't have to use the word letter n. You can use a number. You can use any words you want. But I'm going to use C for color. then name span dot style dot color is equal to val. So we can try again. This time change name UI, but change it to black. I mean, let's not do black. Let's do purple. But it won't be N, it will be C, because I want to change the color this time. So you can see it's a purple text. And then you go, okay, well, what if I don't use C? What if I use M? What happens if I use M? If I use M, nothing will change because I'm not looking, like in my function, I didn't look for the letter M, right? So nothing will change. The color won't change. And then you go, okay, can I not use N and C? Yeah, you can do anything you want. This is your function that you create. It's your rules, your own set of creativity. If you want, you can go Cyclops, right? It makes no sense, but the only way to change the name now is if I do Cyclops in here, since it's my rule. Right, so it's up to you. I'm just building a function. Instead of building for a function, I'm using one and doing some if and else statements in there, if statements in there, to determine what I can change. It's another way of solving our problem. Instead of building for functions, you can have one function and do if analysis. So why don't you finish up? Do the other two ifs. Build your own custom code, custom detection. And this is very common. Like you might go, okay, why would anyone ever use Cyclops? There are actual tools out there that scans your host JavaScript, and it'll change every variable, every if and else statement into some random gibberish so that people can't decipher your code. For example, there's like a Lord of the Ring version of this. So they would turn the entire JavaScript into a Lord of the Ring reference in there. It would be like var Frodo equals to ring. If ring equals to sword, then fire spits, or so fire dot inner text equals to, and then you don't, nothing in there makes sense. But then that's because they, it's good, so no one can decipher it if they need to. But it's bad because if you need to change something, then it's gonna be so much fun. So, so it says cannot set property right? It means whatever the 35% of the text. There's nothing like that. And that's can either be don't have it HTML. Like you have to,
Well, it's also like one of my
so then I
or you do that.
Is the word evolve a hard code or is it like
say again.
is the word evolve hard code or is it
No, you can do anything. You can. That's so here you're building the function. You can do any naming convention you want. You can. You don't. Huh?
it can pass the value.
It doesn't have to be called val.
How
You can call it.
how does it know the difference
by what you're passing here. Like this is passing it to val. This is passing it to n part. This is passing it to val. This is passing it to n part, and because there's a comma in between them. Pass it to val, comma, n part. Val, comma, n part. And you can put in as many as you want. You put in 20 arguments. However you need it.
How does it know that this is gone by having this as the first before
That's
comma?
This is the first one, right?
And this can be anywhere. And we can pass on to
Well, you put this as the third item, then you can put this as. Does that make sense? Yeah, because it's like it's sequential. First item, first item, first item, first item, second item, second item.
I want to say another line. Just
That another in your text. That means whatever your first line is. In text. This thing doesn't. That just means back to the problem.
Are you sure?
So guys, to this review, there'll be no lecture today. I think everyone's just way too I don't take questions, how do you respond?
So the client meetings are scheduled.
The client meetings are scheduled for next Wednesday from 2 till 4. I'll send out an email with the exact timings. Yes. Yeah. So no lecture this afternoon. And to be fair, I'm pretty exhausted with that too. So let's have our client lecture next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, right?
So like instead of building more houses, I just want to make it do it another way. Just to show like different ways to do it. So if I just ask for how do I know if I should change oh that's certain letters. So for example, X is used to change that's why of the name. That's why the name letter X. Anything else, nothing's gonna happen. So this is there's no
It's like an action package from
so
it was generated
things are only gonna change if you write down the right. So Nick, it's not gonna change because there's no it's hard equals to Nick.
oh, it's like hot
It is hard, like the what you detecting.
it's weird. So
What part goes to it?
like the unequal like same color as the import equals
So this is another part. This is to provide just to differentiate what I you don't have to put it there. If you don't put it there, then you don't know what to change. Like if I put in new name and then purple, how does it differentiate that that's color?
oh okay
So that's why I have a second argument to help you differentiate.
if I want to do both width and height, do I have to add more one?
No, you just put it all inside the if part. So equals to val, and then afterwards one more line within the if statement.
This?
No, just enter, like literally one more line, and then change the width.
Oh, I did, but it didn't.
That's because val. Oh yeah, oh that's right.
Oh, and then it didn't work.
It showed me there. Oh,
It got confused because.
because that's
Oh,
three arguments.
Oh, it has to be the same width and height.
Yeah, you can't if you want to do both width and height in the same line, then you're going to have to change this up a bit. Does that make sense? Okay, so okay, so you know, there's no right or wrong way of doing this. You can do it in 4 functions. You can do it in 1 function. That depends. That's really up to you. Or you can do it in 2 functions, one for style and one for other attributes. It's just there's pros and cons to each, obviously, but it really is up to you. And when you're looking at this, you might also get confused and go, okay, why am I doing if and else here in this function, where in the proxy I'm already doing checking for all these stuff anyway. Like, isn't this a bit redundant? If props equals to name, it's the same as saying if n part equals to n here. Why would I not just put this up here instead? This is redundant. We are repeating the same process 2 times, and the only reason we are doing this is because if we expand it later on, and we have more than just the name tag change, we may have name tags, message, post, whatever, game icons. Then this becomes too big and too problematic. And right now it looks redundant because we only have 1 item on the screen to change, and that same item is being handled in 1 function. So in the as you build more enterprise, like as you're hitting your limits right now with your midterm projects, the limitation of what you can build, you'll start seeing that, oh, if I need to make this more enterprise, or if I need to be able to add more stuff on here, it has to go through these kind of organization, and then afterwards they'll have to go through an object and an array in order for that to work. Afterwards, it has to go through an object and array that's communicated with other computers and databases in order for it. So the limits keep, every single wall you hit is breakable by architecting it more and more. Okay, so over here, if props is name, change the UI's inner text. I have a function that does this change UI. So if props is equal to name, change name UI to the value that it was changed to, and it's n for me. Okay, remember the n for me. If you use your own checks, make sure you write the letter that you use. N is because I use n. And then I can just take this and put it all different places. B for me. T, oh wait, no, C for color. And D for dim. Again, we don't have any interactions connected to it yet. We don't have any interactions to connect to the states yet. We're just setting up. This is all setting it up for our final product, which is the reactive programming part of it, the reactive application part of it. So we just have to refresh and check if there's any bracketing errors, because if there's no bracketing errors, then we are kind of almost ready to start building the interactions that's going to change everything. So if someone changed the package and the property in the package that was changed is called name, then change the UI with my UI changing function. So we set up all three items. We set up our states variable, which is an object, which is also the same object that in the future we're gonna send to other people so they can see these packages. We set up our proxy, which is a way for our information to be observed and react on change. We set up the UI changing so that the UI does actually change with it. What we're missing left is the change state functions. And the change state functions has to do with interactions. Okay, so right now we have no interactions here, right? 0 interactions. So we gotta build some interactive stuff in there. So I wanna build some controls in here. Let's start with the simple one. The interaction to change the name. What kind of UI should I give should I use to change the name? To do an interaction for name change. What kind of UI should I use so that I can change the name? Text area? Alright. That's over excessive, but we can do it. Paragraph names, right? In the future when there's too many humans, it will be paragraph names. No, let's do an input text. Input type equals to text. And we'll call this the name input. And placeholder equals to type your name here. And what's the interaction that I'll be looking for? Well, first let's build a function so that we can connect the interaction with the function. Function change name package. And all we'll do is bar name imp val is equal to document dot query selector name imp dot value, and then we change the package. Prox package, that's what I named mine. Dot name is equal to name imp val. But we still haven't connected it. We just built a function to change the package. Just build the function to change the package. And by changing the package, the prox is gonna observe it and change and perform the UI change. Okay, what's the interaction then? What kind of event should call the function? What kind of input event should I use? On key up, let's do that then. And it's gonna equal to change name package. Let's see if it goes through. Yes. Oops, why did I save? Reflexes. Now this looks tedious, right? Document.query selector input.value, and you keep doing it and whatnot. There is actually one. Okay, I'm gonna double check on this, but if you type this in here, I believe that you can get the element that is doing this events listener right now. So it's gonna put L as my argument, and I'm just gonna console.log L out to make sure I'm getting the right information. Nope. Oh, I guess it doesn't then. Oh no, wait, hold on. Let's try again. Yeah, see, the input that has the key up can be passed down. So how is this relevant? Because instead of doing document.query selector, you can just say, okay, just use the inputs that you're on right now. So instead of doing document.query selector, you can literally just go L.value like that. Very, very useful. So this is a terminology that refers to the element that has the attribute. So on keyup is the attribute. The element that has it is this input. So it gets passed on as the element. So over here, this L that got passed down is the equivalent of this query selector. It's the equivalent, same thing.
Did you pass the elements from other functions like that?
No. That's a limitation. But good question.
If
Great.
you have several of this, but different functions name,
Then there will be different elements.
in different functions,
Huh?
will that work as well?
Huh?
You have different functions of things you want to do, and then have to say
Yeah. So it'll be the
as long as
as long as
it's a function name.
yeah. Now you can build. Now that that's ready and available, there's again two approaches to it. You can either build 4 different functions to change the 4 different ones, or you can do the if and else over here and pass in like some kind of identifier to know what to change. That's up to you. Again, there's no right or wrong answer to this. It just they have their pros and cons, and however your application works will be the determination of what the pros and cons are. So for the sake of being different, we are going to build 4 different functions. For the sake of seeing the difference, we're going to build 4 different functions. So next one, function change bg package. And we're going to do the same. We're going to pass in the element, and it's going to be prox package dot bg color is equal to L dot back. And the reason it's bg color again is because that's how I named my package up here, right? Remember, that's how I named my package up here, bg color. If you didn't name it bg color, you need to make sure you use the right naming convention. Okay, what UI should I use for colors? What UI should I use for color? Does anyone know? Huh? What's the color wheel? You mean input type equals to color? Is there such thing? Is there such thing? We don't even need ID anymore because we're passing the information. Is there such thing? Does anyone know? Of course there is. Why would there not be a input type equals to color? And so, right? How come it's not changing colors of the background right now? Huh? The input type is color, yeah? So we didn't put the function, we didn't connect the function yet, right? What do you think the interaction is? What is the event when, is this on key up? On mouse up? Okay, that works. An easier one is on change. So you can do the same for the other color as well. Change text package, or change color package, not BG, but change color package. Proxy package, so color, and then change color. All right, let's double check that it does work. All right, and let's check that this works. No. Why doesn't it work? Because mine's not called color. Do you know what it's called? Text color, right? Text color. Try again. Starting with and so on. This yours called BG. Oh, this is at the handle. So is yours copy to color? Is yours copy? Changing your ID. So you're changing the color of the disk. Very good.
Background.
Background. Let's try refresh.
Why not also the
Close this first. See? There you go. Now it's cannot be properly styled. Do you have a preview box? Or you don't have an ID for previews. Yeah. So maybe you want to ID as preview. Refresh. Okay, now go. There. Yeah.
why is it like going forward?
Did you your CSS you didn't see? There we go. Prox package is the scale up prox package. There's this prox package above that. But you were changing prox package where this function. Like something doesn't just function you're not changing the UI. So we change the UI here. Oh, there's one. Yeah. So this is good. But this is the one that's observing the domain. So you're changing the name.
Yeah.
And this is being called out.
Yeah.
You're not changing.
Right.
So
So that's where the functions.
yes, change. Yeah. So that's UI. The UI which that long. No, that's the package, the one that actually is the change. And then inside passive and then the one that's actually oh, and the no, like, you know how yeah, you know how you put and C. So what's the one that you and yeah.
Why? Can you explain the Passover? So where is this getting passed from?
This is part of the proxy. So basically, proxy for DC information is information
whenever something in one of these property changes, it will call into this set function here. And then it combines it together. Right, so when I call n down in the function, it calls this n. Yeah, and it also calls the color from the proxy package. It calls the name from the name. Yeah. So I'll be like, okay, well, here the proxy package name is changed. So let's use the function. Yeah, and I'll change the value. So when my name is yeah, say n is that changes the text. You do the same thing. That means you're just changing yeah, that's a proxy.
Holy fuck! Holy shit, this is so dumb. This is actually so stupid.
Yeah, I mean, today we do or something, right?
Yeah, but it's just next. And then you have to go to another for the otherwise everything is cheap.
Yeah.
Oh,
Take the so
yeah, that's the text itself.
so what did you this is that's for testing.
Oh, all four of these.
Yeah, they're just for testing to make sure.
Oh, right, because we're calling, this is the real.
That's right, okay.
Just text.
Yeah.
Should not do that. This works in the
Yeah, I think into the text itself for this one. Instead of
So I have to do that. So there's no one
Holy shit, I can't believe I'll be done.
So one div, I just
oh, I should change it there. Yeah. Because you're changing it. I have a simple question. Like if I'm trying to resize the div, is this just a little bit?
Oh, this one? No, not this. So let's say that this one.
Oh, okay, okay. It's just changing the background of the text, not the background. So maybe it's referring to the text. Or you type it.
Yeah, you're referring to the
If you want to change the size of the so replace it with the number. Somewhere I have you written it into a function. But like when alright. Next.
Henry, can you repeat this? The text is not it's not trying to the entire.
Okay.
Just the text.
Because you can do one function and then just do setup. So you're changing the background.
Or you should make the
All right. Okay, changing dimensions. What kind of UI should we use to change dimensions? Does anyone know the best UI to change dimensions with? Number? There's something called range. And the minimum for the range would be, let's say, 150. And the maximum for the range would be, sure, 1000. Alright, so this is the minimum. Actually, let's make, and the value is at 150 in the beginning. So that we have, if you start from here, or maybe we should have minimum of 30. Makes sense? So we have change dimension, right? Function change dim package procs package dot dim is equal to L dot value. Now we have to figure out the interactions for input range. There is on change, dim package. Let's see what that. All right. I mean, it gets pretty big, but maybe our maximum is too crazy. maybe 300 is good enough. All right, and then
Why is the password this again?
Hmm?
What
That-
do you mean this is the password?
this indicates the input that's using the on change.
Can you say like does it have to be this or it can be whatever?
It could be whatever,
Oh, okay.
except then you can not get. No, okay. L can be whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't be whatever, but this has to be this.
Yes, because this is a syntax that represents the input that you're in right now.
Okay.
There's on change, which is nice, right? But the interaction is a bit quirky. What's wrong with the interaction with on change? Well, it totally works for me.
So it says we cannot read properly to the sound. That means maybe there doesn't So that's the jump. So I think we're gonna ID or div with the brief comments. So ID equals to hash. Yeah, but your ID is equal to hash. Oh, it's variable. It's a variable.
Automatic, right?
Like how can you make it like once you're sliding it moves with it without just
That's a good question. All right, so the slider, it's wonky right now. Does anyone else need help before I can move on?
Yeah.
Okay. So, okay.
oh go down and you put this one. Oh, they still have. It's yet. Oh, wait, wait. Oh, did you put that's quite intense. Yeah. Did you say it?
You sound it so easy.
It's not really
used to playing MDIA.
No, it's good.
Yeah. You just have to
Yeah.
You just gotta know your place. It's like certain it's like certain band. Like side to side, straight between and then there's like crouch, which makes you like slide fast. Just you don't want to be easy target. No, it's straight. And then like looping, you gotta know how to loop stuff like that. Your backpack stays also.
Oh, your face around play face.
It's like I don't know, it's weird. It's weird. But it's really tight. Yeah, it's fascinating. The game's coming out back to I think I'm gonna play this. It's all origin servers are so bad. But then I like I'll keep up 3 times and like the first 2 times I land it's like practice.
And you're always keeping your
Like when you get a good match actually just like they need to see fighting. I know, but I just think I'm gonna like I get shit done fast. But at the same time,
Oh, yeah.
then you only got another one now. You need 2 more.
Oh, and then
Yeah, and then we're gonna have to go through. This assignment is really good. Just because we're like, yeah, this assignment's cool.
logging. You don't actually hear what I call it. It's from yeah. The entire time I'm watching.
Yeah, I guess I'm
As soon as you finish and it's hard. So it's basically just takes everything away from you.
And he can't think of one.
Yeah. He's very sensitive. Yeah. No. Yeah. Also, like that, I'm sure if I talk to you in the evenings, you would still.
I was changing my you didn't tell me.
Okay, so if you read up on the range inputs, there's two listeners. One is on change, the other is on input. What do you think on input does? Whenever there's an input, right? So the one where you can slide. That's on input. I mean, it's hard to control because the box gets too big. So you can always put the controls above and not below, so that you can actually slide and control it. If you wanted to. So that it's at the top. Yay.
How did you fix the smooth? I said it again.
Hmm?
Did you fix the? Can you?
It's on inputs.
Oh, on.
Instead of on change, it's on inputs. And finally, when we're ready, we want to send it over, right? So this is what it's going to look like. I'm going to show you really quickly how the sending over looks like. You don't have to do this part. You can just kind of watch it, because we're not actually sending it over to anybody. We're not at that stage yet. Although if you know how to do it, you know, that's a kudos to you. So it looks something like this, right? Afterwards, you have a button send, and then when you press send, you send it to your friend or send it to whoever. But what you're really sending isn't like an image of this, or isn't the div whatever. What you're really sending is this package with all the new information inside. So for example, it will look something like this. A function send tag. And then all you're doing is you're taking the new information, console.log procs package. And then here, I'll just quickly do an on click equals to send tag. So blah, 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 made a lot of change, made a lot of change, made a lot, and then press send. And this is the new package with the new, well, not this, but inside. This is the new package. This is the original, and the new one is somewhere here, if I can find it. But the new one is somewhere here with the information somewhere. You can actually get the new one by using .gets or something like that. In any case, like the new information is going to be inside this proxy package, and then you send over the new information. Well, if you really want to do it properly, it will actually look something like this. The new one would be under get function. Same thing. This is not required for you right now, but it's the same idea. So change. Okay, whatever, I don't care. Press send, and over here you would use the proxy package that was gotten and send the object over here. So it'll have all the new information that was changed and send it over to your friend in the form of an object. So I'm going to show you how other people do it. Introduce you to this part now. It's called, you don't have to, okay, so just understand this. This is an introduction. Don't try to follow up on everything. Just understand it. Because this is where it gets a lot crazier in the future. So this is called public APIs, and this person made a list of public information that's all packaged together that can be sent and used. For example, under animals, there's a random dog API, and whenever you communicate with this computer, they'll send you a random dog. They're not going to send you a random dog image. They're not going to send you a random dog HTML. They're going to send you a random dog object. Okay, so that's how they communicate in your computers. For example, Studio Ghibli. Studio Ghibli, look at this right here. This is the information that they're sending over if you use their API. They don't send you the movie itself. They're not mailing you a DVD or whatever, or a hard drive or something like that. They're sending you the ID, the title, the description, the director. But what you should notice here is the format that it's sending you. So everything is the same kind of formatting. They do whatever they need in the background and they send back the format. So I'm going to show you how this would look like right now. So going back to this send tag, right? Let's say I have one called get Ghibli. All right. So I'm going to communicate with this computer that this person has built, and they're going to give me back all the Ghibli information. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find one that's pretty interesting. Wonder if there's one to get all the, yeah, there is. There is somewhere here. Use case. Oh, I saw it. Where's return all films? Return all films is here. There it is. So I'm going to communicate with this computer using this link, and it's going to send me back a whole bunch of information in the form of something that you recognize, a package, an object, or in this case, an array of objects. So this is how the function would look like. You notice I had to type the word async in the beginning. Get movies. Or I should say get Ghibli. This means this function is communicating. Have you been taught this, by the way? This is Ajax, right? Yeah. So this means this function is going to communicate with the internet, not my own computer, not the files on the own computer, but it's going to communicate with the internet somewhere, maybe another computer in Denmark or Europe or whatever. Var, and this await means wait for the communication to finish. We're going to fetch to this link var JSON. And we're just gonna console log out the JSON, like so. And I'm gonna connect my send tag to get Ghibli. And this here is how your internet works. I didn't make any of this, right? I didn't make any of these information in my own script. This was sent to me from that server, an array of 20 items. Each item in the array is a package information of multiple other items. Each package information has other arrays that's also packaged, other arrays that's also packaged, and so on. So you get the idea of how the internet works. Somebody or everybody in the world packages information together and send it to you. They don't send the movie over. I don't know what the movie is, right? They send text, package information of the movie that I can use to build later on. Because with this, I can use the information to build stuff. I know it's an array, so I can do something like this. For var I equals to 0, I is smaller than JSON.length, I plus plus, var movie equals to JSON I, and then I can go document or var move div equals to document dot create element div, and then var move image equals to document dot create element image, and then move div dot append child, put the div, put the image in the div, and go document dot body dot append child, move div, right? And before everything happens, gonna change some stuff. Move image dot source. I don't know what it is, but I know it sends me back an object, and one of them looks like an image source. I mean, which one do you think it could be? Maybe the URL or something like that, or maybe somewhere here there is a image source, but you don't know what it really is. But you can try it, which is movie.url, and then you can go move div dot inner text equals to, or inner HTML is equal to move div dot inner HTML plus movie dot title, something like that. Right. And then afterwards you go, okay, I'm gonna take someone else's package information to populate my screen, and let's see if it does that. Well, you know, now my screen's kind of semi-populated using the package information. Right? So that's essentially how it all works. And you can see that that's the next stage, that you send information over to a computer to store information, and you send information, you get information from other computers to fill out your UI with the information, right? This is Studio Ghibli. But if you look at all the other APIs, there's many different really interesting ones. Like you have blockchains, you have charity shirt, you have Dropbox, you have Bitbuckets or whatever, you have stocks, you have stocks, finances, and all of them, all they do is they give you an array of package information, and how you want to utilize and fill out your UI with the package information, that's up to you. So that's why everything is made of data. That concept is very important, because the next step after understanding how to build the UI, how to change the package, and as a by result changes the UI. Now you can send the change information or receive information in the same format as this package over here. That's the next limit break. Because of that, then you can do a whole bunch of crazy things going in there. You can build the next stock market application. You know how much a stock market application is worth in this society? Using a stock UI, it's like $500,000. Yeah, $500,000. You can build a stock market application. All you need is to understand their API and build it properly. But I don't want to say that's so easy. Obviously, it's not so easy. You still need to learn some algorithm so that you know how to filter the stock market in a certain way, and so on. Anyways, new FYI. Okay, any questions on this? Yes?
I see that code really quick.
Which one?
That code.
The Get Ghibli one?
Yeah.
Okay. Not then I'll see you next week.
Talk about my turn.
Sure. Let me get things ready up. Give me a sec. Just need to start. Okay, go ahead.